something strange starts happening when you stay on this path long enough. At first, you don't notice it right away. You think it's just in your head. But slowly, patterns begin to appear. People who used to be neutral toward you suddenly feel different. Friends who once encouraged you start making sarcastic comments. Coworkers seem irritated even when you haven't said a word. Some people you barely know react strongly the moment you enter the room. They stare longer than usual. Some feel drawn to you without understanding why. Others feel uncomfortable, tense, even aggressive for no clear reason. And you start asking yourself a simple question. Why? Why would improving myself cause people to act like this? You're not imagining it, and you're not doing anything wrong. What you're witnessing is something most people never learn about human interaction. It has nothing to do with arrogance, ego, or thinking you're better than anyone else. It has everything to do with energy, awareness, and contrast. When you begin retaining, you're no longer operating at the same level as before. You're not leaking your strength every night. You're not numbing yourself constantly. You're not running on empty like most people around you. And that difference is felt long before it's understood. Human beings sense energy before they process logic. Long before words are spoken, the body reads signals. The eyes notice sharpness. The nervous system notices presence. The subconscious notices stability. When you retain, something inside you settles. Your movements become calmer. Your reactions become slower and more controlled. Your voice naturally carries more weight without you trying. You don't rush your words. You don't chase attention. You don't need approval. And that alone changes how people respond to you. Your eyes look different, not in a mystical way, but in a grounded way. There's less distraction behind them, more clarity, more focus. Your posture shifts without effort. You take up space naturally instead of shrinking yourself. When you walk, it looks like you know where you're going, even if you don't. When you sit, you seem present instead of restless. These small changes stack together and create something powerful. A presence that doesn't beg to be noticed, but is noticed anyway. Most people today are exhausted without realizing it. Their energy is scattered across screens, habits, impulses, and constant stimulation. They wake up tired, push through the day, escape at night, and repeat. They accept this as normal because everyone around them is doing the same thing. Then you show up. Calm, clear, focused, not desperate, not rushing. And suddenly the story they tell themselves about life starts cracking. Your existence becomes uncomfortable for them. Not because we're attacking them, but because you're proof that another way of living exists. You're standing evidence that discipline creates strength, that restraint creates power. And for someone who has avoided responsibility for years, that truth hits hard. Some people respond with curiosity. They ask questions. They feel inspired. These are the ones who sense growth as an invitation. But many others respond differently. They feel exposed. They feel threatened. They feel judged, even when you're silent. Because your progress forces them to look at their own choices. And most egos don't want to look in that mirror. This is where the strange behavior starts. Jokes that sound harmless, but carry disrespect. Comments that downplay what you're doing. Statements like, that doesn't really matter, or everyone does that, or it's not healthy. These words aren't about you. They're shields, mental armor protecting them from facing the truth. Because if what you're doing works, then it means they could change too. And that's a responsibility many people aren't ready to accept. Some will try to pull you back into old habits. They'll talk about temptation constantly. They'll bring up topics they know affect you. They'll act casual about behaviors that used to control you. Not because they want to harm you consciously, but because your discipline makes them uncomfortable. If they can get you to slip, even once, they feel relief. Now the balance is restored. Now they don't have to question themselves anymore. Others react with silent hostility. Short replies, cold energy, passive aggression. You walk into the room and the mood shifts. Conversations stop. You haven't done anything, yet you feel it. That's because energy creates hierarchy, whether people like it or not. Just like confidence changes how someone is treated, stored energy changes how someone is perceived. This hierarchy isn't about value as a human being, it's about capacity. When your system is full, you naturally rise. When someone else is constantly drained, they feel it around you. And human nature often chooses the easier path. Instead of rising to your level, many will try to bring you back to theirs. It's like being in a dark room for years, and suddenly someone turns on a light. The light isn't attacking anyone. It's simply revealing what's already there. Some people welcome it, others cover their eyes and get angry. Your retention becomes that light. The jealousy you feel from others is actually a signal. It means you've broken a pattern. You're no longer blending into the background. You're no longer predictable. You're no longer operating unconsciously. And unconscious people don't like reminders that they're asleep. What's important to understand is this: their reactions are not a measure of your worth. They're reflections of their internal struggle. When someone mocks your discipline, they're defending their lack of it. When someone doubts your progress, they're protecting their comfort. When someone tries to distract you, they're trying to silence the comparison that your presence creates. This is why silence becomes your greatest protection. You don't need to announce what you're doing. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need validation. The strongest moves are quiet. The strongest men don't argue. They observe, adjust, and continue. Keep your practice private. Not because it's secret, but because not everyone deserves access to your process. Energy grows best when it's protected. When you stop defending yourself, people lose power over you. When you stop reacting, their behavior reveals itself even more clearly. As you continue, you'll notice something else. Some people will slowly fade out of your life. Conversations will feel shallow. Old jokes won't land. Old habits won't appeal. This isn't loss, it's alignment. Growth always comes with distance, and that's okay. You'll face a choice repeatedly. Lower yourself to stay comfortable around others, or keep rising and accept temporary loneliness. One path feels safe, but keeps you small. The other feels challenging, but builds something real inside you. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you choose strength. Every time you protect your energy, you invest in your future self. Understand this clearly. If no one reacts to your growth, you're probably not growing. Resistance is part of the process. Friction means movement. The discomfort others feel around you is proof that change is happening. So walk forward calmly. Don't argue. Don't explain. Don't shrink. Let your presence speak. Let your results make the noise. You don't need permission to evolve. You don't need approval to become stronger. Stay focused. Stay grounded. Stay disciplined. Because the higher you rise, the quieter you become. And the quieter you become, the more powerful your presence feels.